Welcome. This is the Luminous Commons, and I'm Becca. Let me say something clearly because no one else is saying it out loud. If you feel stuck, and if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you should be further along by now, especially after all the healing work that you've done, you're not broken. You're not failing your awakening at all. And you're not doing spirituality wrong. You're just listening to a voice that was never meant to lead your life. And today I want to help you tell the difference. Because, most people don't feel lost because they lack intuition. They feel lost because they've just been taught to obey the wrong signal. And they've been praised for it. Here's something that it just might feel a little uncomfortable, but it's important. Trauma can sound calm, anxiety can sound reasonable, and fear can sound very convincing, especially when it's learned how to speak in a soft voice, especially in spiritual spaces. We're told intuition is peaceful, that it's gentle, that it feels like a yes in the body. But no one tells you this part, Survival patterns can also feel familiar. And familiarity is often mistaken for truth. If you grew up needing to stay alert, if you learned to read the room, if your nervous system was trained to anticipate danger, that voice will feel normal. It might even feel a little responsible, protective, wise. But intuition doesn't obsess. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't shame you for needing time. Fear does. Most people are being run by one of three internal voices, and they think it's intuition. The first is the survival voice. Now, this voice formed early. Its job was to keep you safe, locked, and unhurt. It asks questions like, what if this goes wrong? Or, what if I embarrass myself? Or what if I, lose everything? It's very focused on outcomes. And it will always choose what feels safest in the short term, even if it costs you everything and your truth as well. And the second is the wounded voice. This one carries memory. It remembers heartbreak, rejection, failures. It doesn't want healing. It wants avoidance. It says things like, I can't do that again, or I don't trust myself, or every time I try, I get hurt. This voice isn't lying, but it's outdated. And there's the third voice, the intuitive voice. This one's quieter, not dramatic, not urgent. It doesn't argue. It doesn't ever argue with you. It doesn't explain itself. It just simply says, this is mine, or it isn't. And then it waits. And here's the truth that keeps people stuck longer than anything else. Most people are waiting to feel safe before they move. But intuition rarely works that way. Intuition asks for honesty before comfort, movement before certainty, presence before proof. And that terrifies a nervous system that's learned safety through control. So instead, people, they kind of just intellectualize. They journal, they analyze, they wait for another sign. And they call that alignment, but it's not. It's hesitation dressed up as wisdom. And I say that with compassion, not judgment, because hesitation kept you alive once. It just can't lead you forward now. So here's a simple way to tell the difference starting today. When a voice speaks inside you, ask, is this voice asking me to shrink or to show up? Is it trying to protect me from discomfort or inviting me into integrity? Does this feel urgent and panicked or steady and clear, even if it's uncomfortable? Intuition doesn't beg. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't loop. It waits for your consent. You know, if you're waiting for fear to disappear before you trust yourself, Lord, you'll be waiting forever. The question isn't, am I afraid? The question is, who is speaking right now? And more importantly, who do I choose to listen to? You know, you don't need more guidance. You need permission to trust the voice that isn't trying to control you. Sit with that today. That's where your clarity lives.